G'day folks, Ren here, and today we're going to do the telephone tag. So I was tagged by the lovely Chelsea at Chelsea Zhao. I'll leave her link down below, and she tagged me to do the telephone tag, where it's kind of like you find a link between book covers. So I have to start with the book that she ended on. Now, Chelsea ended on Cabin at the End of the World by Paul Tremblay. So I have to find something on this cover to link it to another book. Now, some of these are going to be stretched, but bear with me, okay? The first book I'm going to link is Hell House by Richard Matheson. I'm doing this because it's like a brown house. This one's more of a mansion than the cabin, but it's brown and it's a house. This is apparently like a haunted house story, but this seems to be a bit of a classic in the horror genre, so I'm really intrigued to read it. There's also an adaptation called The Legend of Hell House, so that could be interesting. And here's a quote from Stephen King. "Hell House is the scariest haunted house novel ever written. It looms over the rest the way the mountains loom over the foothills." So now I need to link a book with Hell House. So we have the browns. I just dropped the book. So for this one, I'm kind of doing a color scheme. So we have the browns and the reds. So for this, I'm going with Ghostwood Song by Erica Waters. See, it's got the brown and the red flowers, and there is brown and red here. Erica Waters is a fantastic writer, honestly. Ghostwood Song is about a girl that picks up her father's fiddle, and this fiddle used to be able to help you commune with the dead. There is a murder that takes place in her town, and they're trying to figure out who did it to help exonerate someone that has been accused of this murder. And it's full of all these really cool bluegrass music style things. It's so atmospheric and I love it. There's also bisexual rep in this, and I love the rep in here. It's really, really good. So now I have to link something to this. And honestly, I'm pretty pleased with this next one. I think this turned out really, really well. So for this, I'm going with the red flowers. So still a color, but the flowers in particular. And so for this, I have Tell Me How You Really Feel by Amina May Safi. So you see there are red flowers at the top there, and red flowers there. I think this works really, really well, actually. I'm pretty excited about this. But Tell Me How You Really Feel is a YA sapphic story. It's about these two girls that are making a production of Romeo and Juliet, but they're trying to do a twist on it. They end up falling for each other and things happen. I feel like this is one of the realest stories I've ever read. I thought it was really well written, and I love these characters. They're really sweet. Sweet and complicated. So now I have to link something to this. This one might be a stretch. Like, really a stretch. I'm going with the separation of colors here. So at the top there is the green, and then at the bottom, I mean, it's got the people, but then it's just it's a different color down the bottom. I'm basically going with the split in the middle of the cover. The top half being green and the bottom half being something else, and it being split in the middle. So for this, I'm going with Nothing to See Here by Kevin Wilson. And you see there's the green at the top, and then it is split into a different color. I am really stretching this, but like also the color combinations are kind of the same vibe. There's a lot of oranges in here, and the flowers could look kind of orangey even though they're red-ish, you know, they're orange-esque, you know. I'm stretching here, guys. Like, I'm just doing the thing. So I'm gonna link these two together. I don't know much about Nothing to See Here. I've only recently got it from Erin, so thank you very much. And it's just about this woman taking care of these kids who catch on fire. That's kind of all I know. I've heard it's really, really great. I know a lot of people have read it and loved it. And it's kind of one of those books where you have to go in blind and just kind of figure out what it is as you go. So now I have to link something to this. And you know what? I'm really happy with this link as well. Like, this is a really good link. So I'm gonna link the fire because the kid here is on fire. And there's fire on this cover. So this is It Looks Like Us by Alison Ames. And right there is A Fire. Now again, I haven't read this one, so I can't tell you much about it, but it's about people stuck in Antarctica. There was a disaster, there was a fire happening, and then trying to survive on Antarctica. It's also queer, so cool. This is also queer as well. I don't know if I said that, but this is also queer. And now to link this. And now, once again, I'm kind of going with the color scheme. It's easier to go that way. And this was the first one that came to mind when I saw this cover, and that is The Hate U Give by Angie Thomas. We have the blacks and the whites, and we got black and white here, and there's like red writing and like some red in the flame, and Star has a red hoodie on, and there is some red writing here as well, so good enough, yeah? But The Hate U Give is a fantastic novel. It is very heavily about the Black Lives Matter movement and this young girl wanting to survive and speak up for her friend that was shot down by police while also like trying to stay safe herself. It's a really amazing story, highly recommend. To link this. Now for this one I am going with a person of colour on the cover, and so for that I'm going to use Pet by Akwaeke Emezi. Now I know this is a real person on the cover and this is a drawing of a person on the cover, but they are both prominent black girls on the cover, which I think is really important, and they're awesome. Now, Pet is a really interesting story. It is about some of these paintings that can come to life sometimes. When they come to life, it is these angels that will hunt down the monsters in the world. But apparently the monsters are all gone, except Pet, and Jam helps Pet find out who the monster is and helps with all that. This is also queer because Jam is trans, so that's really good representation here as well. Okay, now to link Pet. I almost immediately wanted to link it to Bitter, but I'm like, that's just a bit on the nose, you know? But what I decided to go with is the feather, because there is a feather on the cover here. So I'm trying to find a book with a feather on it, and I found one. So that is Dreamcatcher by Stephen King. Now there is a bunch of feathers at the top there that is a part of this Dreamcatcher. They fit like that. I don't know what Dreamcatcher is about. It'll be a horror because it's Stephen King. Once upon a time in the haunted city of Derry, 4 boys stood together and did a brave thing. It was something that changed them in ways they could never begin to understand. I don't know, I'll read this eventually, except she large. Okay, so now I have to link something to this. Now in a way, this one's kind of a stretch, but like, just follow with me, okay? So for here, we kind of have this, it's almost like a road in a way, that has the, you know, the thickest part of the road is here and then it goes up into the smaller part of the road, you know, so it's that kind of triangular perspective, and it's all blue, so I'm kind of going with that triangular perspective and the blue. And so the book I found for this is The Mysterious Disappearance of Aiden S. as Told to His Brother by David Levithan. So this is a street and it has that triangular pattern as well, and it's blue. Go with it, okay? It's the best I could find. The Mysterious Disappearance of Aiden S. is such a good story because this is about a young boy whose brother goes to a portal world, but we don't follow the brother. We follow this young boy and what happens in the real world when someone goes through to a portal world. It's a bunch of the police thinking that his brother's run away and people kind of giving up on him, or people thinking that he's been kidnapped, but the little brother knowing that neither of those things happened, that something else happened. And then it's also about what happens when the brother comes back from that portal world and how life changes after that. This is also queer as well, but in a, like, it's not about it being queer. It's about the story between these two brothers and I love it. Okay, now it's the final link that I have to pull, which is awesome. And I'm really happy that I could end on this particular book. The link I'm gonna make with this is there are some trees in the top here, and then they kind of wrap all around and there are more trees on the back. But there are trees here, and again, the blue. So the book I picked for this is Under the Whispering Door by TJ Klune. I love that I could end this on a Klune, but we have the outline of some trees at the top here, and just like the shadow of the trees. There is also trees on the sprayed edges of this edition. But again, you could say, you know, there are houses here, there are houses here. It kind of works. So Under the Whispering Door is about grief. It's about this man who has passed away, and instead of going to whatever afterlife he is meant to go to, he's in kind of a midway station, which is this coffee house, and he gets to spend 7 days there to kind of come to terms with his death and be ready to move on. And at this little tea shop, there's a bit of a found family going on, and there is a queer romance, and it's beautiful and such a good description on grief, and it was really, really moving. It brought me to tears, which TJ Klune often does. Thanks. So this is the book I landed on. I made 10 links. So we started with The Cabin at the End of the World, and we ended with Under the Whispering Door. You could kind of link those two together anyways if you stretched it, but this is the one I'm ending with. So I'm going to tag a few people, and then they will have to start their telephone tag from Under the Whispering Door, which is just so fitting because it's a TJ Klune book. So the people I'm going to tag are Kirsty from K-Beth Bookish, Sasha from Sash Reads, and Liv from Endless Pages. So have fun, you three. Telephone tag with TJ Klune. But thank you so much for watching this video, and I will see you in my next one. Bye!